All right, welcome back to video number 2. Hope you guys are doing good. Whether you're watching this all the way through in one go or whether you're revisiting it, I hope you guys are excited and fired up for this information. It is kind of funny for me to look back on where I first started trading and going over the basic information, how foreign it was to me at the time when we were going over these, these currencies and these like assets and trading and like everything about it was just a whole new language. And so I'm super excited to be here with you guys, genuinely, to be able to share this with you. And I'm fired up to get you on this journey because trading just makes you a different person, man. It makes you better. It makes you more committed. It makes you, it makes you feel like you know what you're doing. When you have a sense about what's going on in the world, when you understand the power of being able to look at the price of something in the store and understand why it is that price. And when it goes down and when it goes up, and when you look at rent and you look at real estate and you look at gas prices and the stock market, and it's like, man, I know what's going on. I can see, I can read, I understand. So with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about currency pairs. And we're going to talk a little bit about, some crypto and commodities and indices as well. And this is kind of following up on the other video that we just went over. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, get right on into it. And let's do it. I always do that. I always do that on accident. I always accidentally. All right, here we go. Okay, so following off last video, the intro to global exchange markets and other markets, let's go ahead and talk about what is traded inside of these markets. Okay, so first and foremost, currency pair. A currency pair is the ping of the currency you're using and then the currency you're exchanging, right? So people who've traveled to other countries know that to buy goods and services, you have to use their home currency. So we went over that in the last video, right? Each currency has a different valuation. 1 US dollar could equal $1.05. 1 US dollar could equal 132 yens. Right? 1 US dollar could equal $1.23 British pounds. And this is called the exchange rate between currencies. What makes one different from the other, right? It really depends on a lot of economic factors. How a nation is developed, what goods and services they have to offer to the global markets, how a nation's government allocates money through the economy, and a lot more that could be listed to why the dollar is $1 and the yen is 132, right? There's just so many different factors. And as you progress, you'll learn more and more about why that is. So how do we read quotations on a chart? And we're actually going to pull up the chart in just a moment. And we're going to go over why they're pegged a certain way. Right? So anything pegged, and when I mean pegged, I mean put together with the dollar, like when you're looking at the chart, anything pegged with the US dollar is a major currency pair. It's considered major. The euro US dollar is the euro and then US dollar with that slash mark in the middle. That's the euro dollar. USD JPY is the dollar yen. Notice the difference here, right? You have the USD JPY, but then you have Euro USD. So why is it not USD Euro, right? Like USD JPY is. That is because of the evaluation of that currency. You'll notice a majority of the currencies that come before the dollar are definitely they're definitely going to be more European countries, but the for exception of like the Swiss franc, and I'm not too sure, but there's a reason why it's pegged first, and it's not a big deal if we know why or not. But anyways, let's keep going. GBP USD is Great British Pound and the US dollar. US dollar, Swiss franc, CHF, New Zealand dollar, and the US dollar, that is the Kiwi and the dollar. The Australian dollar and US dollar is the Aussie dollar, and USD CAD is dollar Canadian dollar. Those are going to be your major currency pairs, probably your most traded currency pairs in the market as well. And then you have your minor pairs. These are pairs that are not involved in the US dollar, also known as cross pairs, right? These cross pairs include Euro AUD, Euro Aussie, CHF JPY, which is Swiss yen, Euro GBP, which is Euro pound, AUD JPY, Aussie yen, Euro NZD, Euro Kiwi, Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. So you can trade all of these different types of currencies, from Euro US dollar to Australian dollar, Japanese yen. And then you have some exotic pairs that not a lot of traders trade because of the spread and the difference in evaluation. Certain countries like Mexico and Russia and Norway, their currency just isn't worth as much. They don't provide enough to the global economy to be a superpower, within the markets. And these are called exotic pairs, right? So some of them include the dollar peso, dollar Turkish lira, US dollar won, the Chinese yuan, right? And the US dollar ruble, Russian ruble. So that's reading quotes. These are called quotes. Anything that, like when you're on your broker account and you're looking at different currency pairs, they're called quotes. And let me actually, before we move on to indices, let me just pull up the chart here and go over this with you. So we can see, right, Euro US dollar, right? You can see that on the 4-hour time frame, and we're going to get into time frames. We're going to get into all of that, right? But on the left-hand side, Euro USD is a currency pair, right? If I go to currencies, where is it? Boom, Forex. We can see that we have all of the currencies listed under Forex, right? You have every single pair, CAD JPY, GBP CAD. You can look at all of these. Euro USD and GBP USD are going to be the two main traded pairs within the world, and then USD JPY, massive, right? So you can see that Euro comes before the US dollar, which is important, and then US dollar comes before the yen, which is important. You'll notice that when Euro USD is uptrending like this, and then like you see how here it's trending upward, and then if we go to GBP USD, it should be very similar, and it is. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not a very clean chart. Give me 1 second, guys. And that is not a clean chart either. Sorry about that. All right, here we are, and see how GBP USD is very similar. GBP USD is very, very similar to Euro USD, right? If GBP is in an uptrend, Euro should be in an uptrend. But what about USD JPY, right? This is a different currency pair. We are in a big uptrend and no downtrend. There's a reason for that, and we will cover that later. But what about USD CHF? Big downtrend. US dollar is listed first. Swiss franc is listed second. It's in a downtrend. So we'll get more into that as we continue, but just to be sure you recognize the difference, okay? Make sure you recognize the difference, all right? Let's go over indices. Indices are index funds that are made of the top performing stocks. It's a compilation of statistics of shared stock prices to create something called a fund. The top performing index funds include the S&P, Dow Jones, and the NASDAQ. The S&P 500 is comprised of the top 500 stocks in America. The NASDAQ is comprised of the top 100 technology stocks in America. And the Dow Jones is the top 30 stocks in America. So, your Amazon, your Walmart, your Tesla, your big companies. These are very popular to trade and have created a lot of successful traders. Knowing how to trade indices is a slightly different skill set compared to currencies. Commodities. Okay, let's talk about commodities. Wheat, grain, oil, gold, silver. Oil is considered a commodity, huge asset to trade, right? Gas prices fluctuate, price of oil per barrel is fluctuating, right? If a barrel of oil costs around $75, the price of gas is usually around $3.50 per gallon, especially, and you know, this isn't always true depending on state taxes and, you know, state funding and companies that in your state. Every state varies, like California and Florida, two very different states, right? But you can trade US oil on a lot of different platforms. The volatility is extreme. It takes a lot of understanding to learn what impacts the price of oil. Gold. Man, me and gold have an interesting relationship. It's one of the most valuable commodities on earth, clearly. It's the core foundation for economics and trade. Most of the assets are backed by gold, except for the US dollar. US dollar is no longer backed by gold, so it is a safe haven for investors when currencies and stocks are performing badly. It is one of the most volatile assets on the market and rapidly changes depending on the global economy. Gold is characterized as XAU USD, so gold US dollar is the pegged currency. Cryptos, let's talk about some cryptos. Cryptocurrency is an interesting asset that has become widely popular within the last few years. It's been around since 2011, 2012. It's built on the blockchain, which is a complex algorithm of numbers and programs. It's going to change the way that we use banking. And we're in the beginning stages of adoption. I don't know if it's going to be Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever the hype is. I believe it will be some form of digital currency, however we go about changing that. But I'm not 100% sure exactly what we're going to be using for forms of payment and stores of value or anything like that. But I do know that these coins do offer trading abilities, and you can take advantage of crypto if you understand the skill set of trading. It is very tricky to trade cryptos, but it is very profitable if traded correctly. You know, since I'm not a financial advisor, I cannot recommend you invest in them. I will say that I do, you know, have a few investments in cryptos myself, but I'm not going to recommend that you do. Some include Chainlink, Solana, Ethereum, Ripple Coin, Cardano. These are currencies, these are cryptos that have more popularity than others and actually have use cases and purpose. So each year we'll continue to adopt more to crypto and have more policies and, you know, government official regulated, like the SEC has to regulate certain crypto markets to be able to be used. Crypto is a whole that could be a whole nother like platform. Like I could build a whole nother website just dedicated to teaching crypto. That's how big it is. Cryptocurrency, we've only discovered maybe 5%, maybe 10% of what crypto can do. Also the blockchain. I think artificial intelligence and cryptocurrency will combine together to be one kind of big ecosystem or you know, economy. So that's going to go ahead and end it for the intro to currency pairs and what is traded. And in the next video, we're going to be talking about some time zones, what is traded in these time zones. So I hope you guys are taking notes. I hope you guys are being able to pay attention, and I certainly hope it makes sense. I know it can be sometimes confusing at times when you're new to this. You can always feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Reach out to the 1022 mentorship group chat. There will be people there to be able to answer your questions, and most certainly reach out to me if you have any as well. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.